Okay, we're now dealing with the needed knowledge to survive. So, knowledge and practice. Knowledge and practice that we need to know. Physical life needs. We need to know about birth, life, growth, marriage, support. We need to know about learning, and cleanliness, and death. Okay, that you basically will find in your fiqh books, etc., etc. And what spiritual and physical life needs do you need? You need to know how to salah, you need to know the azkar, remembrance of Allah, you must be able to recite Quran, must know about fasting, sadaqah, charity, honoring the holy days and nights, about Umrah and Hajj. So basically, just to summarize something that you know, okay fine, I know about fasting, I know about this, I know about that, and you can tick it off, it's like a ticking sheet. Then you have your social needs. Your zakah, which is your obligatory tax paid to poor Muslims in different types of zakah. Then you need to know your jurisprudence, which is your fiqh, the laws which helps, or the guidelines which helps you for your social development. Now, here's a very important point is sometimes we look at this as laws, rather than advice or guidance that Allah gives, because we're so westernized. Laws means that if you break the law, then the person against you breaks the law is suffering something. But in Allah's case, Allah doesn't suffer anything. We suffer everything. So Allah is guiding us. He's giving us guidance rather than translating it as laws. And but because we're so British orientated, we tend to look at things very, very Anglo-Saxon, in a very Anglo-Saxon manner. Then obviously jihad, which is the holy war against the evils, physically as well as emotionally or spiritually, against aggressors or aggressors or who wish to oppress people. It is a kind of physical jihad. And then of course you get the jihad of the nafs, which is greater jihad, fighting the lower self all the time. So what type of salahs do you need? The salawat basically is the plural for salahs. You get the Fajr salah, just before sunrise, the Dhuhr after midday, Asr late afternoon, and Asr is about, if you don't have a watch, it's like when your shadow is the same length as your body. Then your Maghrib is about 3 minutes after the sunset, not actually sunset, it's 3 minutes after sunset. Because you're not allowed to salah at sunset, because that is the time when the sun worshippers in actual fact pray. So about 3 minutes after sunset. Then the Isha salah is when the red of the sun glow is gone. Then Jummah, which is a Friday congregational prayer, and Eid al-Fitr after Ramadan, Eid al-Adha after Hajj. The Istikhara for guidance, the Tasbih, praising Allah, the Duha, which is 1 hour after sunrise, requesting Allah Ta'ala for rizq and so on. Then you get the Haja, which is requesting a need if you have a need. Then the Tahajjud, confirming Allah Ta'ala's glory and power and asking for whatever you need in the middle of the night. Then there's the Salah Awwabin, which is seeking forgiveness between Maghrib and Isha. And then Tahiyatul Masjid, that is greeting the Masjid, and the Janaza prayer. The Istighfar, which is asking for forgiveness, and Tarawih prayer, which is after the rest prayer, which is after the Ramadan evening Salah. Then the Witr Salah is the odd prayers, or the one remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the oneness of Allah. And then the Salah for the rain, eclipse and wudu. So this is basically what I did is to list the type of Salahs that Nabi Muhammad has given us advice on what we can do to purify or to keep our souls connected to our ruh, inshallah. And then note, while the above salahs include fara'id, which is compulsory, and sunnah, which is obligatory, not prophetic practices, it's not farad, but it's advisable. And then nafal salahs, which is the optional salahs. Right, so let's look at essential Islamic knowledge, that what nodig is, as die ou mense gesê het, okay? What is the summary? Islam consists of beliefs, and that one must be convinced about the truth of everything. Okay, then it is the practices, one must be sincere in all your practices. Then the essence of it, one must be grateful for everything. And then the results, if a person does the above, then he or she becomes humble, contented, and progress in everything. So those are the features. If you want to progress, then you have to be humble and you have to be contented. It doesn't mean you just sit and do nothing, but it means that you are satisfied at the moment for what Allah has given you, and you do your best in what you can. So what must we do to reach the above? Okay, what must we do to be convinced about the truth of things? We must research, find out, tafakkur, find out about things, find out how it works, etc. You can see it if you look at photosynthesis, for that matter. All the functions of photosynthesis, breathing, all the different features of the body, all the systems of the body. That it actually, there's no time factor in which you can say the body functions or the photosynthesis functions. It doesn't work within the time frame of space and time. It works within the spiritual world because it all happens instantaneously. It's like, gee whiz, isn't it even a time factor? So you realize that breathing system, the integration of the photosynthesis, the respiration in plants, etc., the different cycles, it happens so fast that there isn't a time factor you can give to it. So you can know for sure these are the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's barakah through the many malaikas that do the things Allah has instructed them to do. To be sincere in all your practices. Okay, we know we must be aware of what makes an action good. Okay, so very important. Then to be grateful, we must reflect, we must think twice, think about the magnificence of the things, that all the features of life. And then again, to be humble and contented, we must experience the many and different things in life. Hardships is part of life, but it must teach us humility and also gratefulness. And we can't expect everything to be, perfect, because in sometimes what we think is perfection, and in that way it gets us to think deeper and more appreciative. So what must we research? We must research about the Quran. We must research human development. There's a Quranic ayah that tells you the whole development of the fetus. We must research what are speeches, different types of speeches and languages, about the sun, the moon, the herbs, the trees, space, types of measurements, the earth, animals, insects, fruits, farms, farming techniques, leaf types, plants, jinn, navigation through road, sea and air and mountain. Now these are all topics that come from the Quran. The seas, the pearls and coral, types of ships, the explorations, heaven and hell, opposites, pairs, etc., the unseen and the seen world. Now the above sequence is derived from Surah Ar-Rahman, Surah 55. Now, Surah 55 is interesting because if you add up the numbers 1 to 9, 1 to 10, you actually get 55. So the above must be studied in a holistic, integrative way. And this will develop a person's sincerity and humility and tafakkur, the reflection, and you start appreciating things because these are the things that Surah Ar-Rahman calls our attention to. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. In which of the favors of the Lord you would deny? And this is what I took from that particular surah. And these are the features that Allah calls our attention to. So, if one then looks at how does Islam help us? Okay, summarizing, it helps us to do the correct thing in life that will benefit us in this world and in the year after. It guides us to do good things. It helps us to stay away from the bad things or the haram. And it encourages us to read and explore the unknown things, to research the things. It encourages us to share the things and the talents we have with others. It teaches us to be grateful for all the things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. And it teaches us how to appreciate things. It teaches us how to use things to its fullest potential. It encourages us to work hard and to enjoy it. It teaches us to be creative and artistic in a way that is beautiful and make everyone happy. Some people forget that there is hadith, Allah possesses beauty and Allah loves that which is beautiful. And that's where the art in Islam comes about. It's about remembering Allah through beautiful designs and without even drawing people and human beings and animals. Islam is the best way to praise Allah, to thank Him and to glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Islam means to create peace and happiness in the world we live in. It stands for peace. It's like automatically people all fight for peace, but they don't even know subconsciously they're actually fighting for the establishment of Islam. Islam meaning peace and security and soundness. Islam gives guaranteed hope for the future. And that's important. So what I did was just to summarize this so parents and teachers, etc., and people can quickly get to know what's the value of Islam. It's not just a religion, and sometimes people basically tend to want to translate it as a way of life. It's not just a way of life. It's further than that. It's a transcendence of this life into a life of ecstasy, of complete fulfillment. Doesn't matter what your physical or your material needs are, or your material condition is. What rewards are there for taking the advice of Islam? So Islam is basically advice, ad-dinu nasiha, if one looks at the understanding of a hadith. So it's good advice to give people good advice. So if you follow the advice, you feel happy, you feel good, you feel inside. It's not that you expect other things to make you outside happy. You are inside, you feel happy. You smile more, becomes a sadaqah. You feel more relaxed and peaceful. You see and appreciate the beauty in things. And so you value things. You become more and more grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah says, if you are grateful, I will grant you more. So that's basically Quran. You look better after yourself. You make others feel happy. Because it's a sadaqah. More people will start loving you more. The good people will draw closer to you. The evil people will run away from you because they can sense the vibrations. But then again, you have the kind of understanding of that behavior. They will love whatever you do. People love what you're doing. And you can also, it can also show you people that detest what you're doing if it's good work, because it's not that they dislike you, it's that they basically dislike themselves for not having done what you're doing. So you feel sorry for them and you love them more. It's like the Quran tells you that do good to your enemy until he becomes your bosom friend. I mean, that's a hard thing to do. We know that is a big test for us. The things that you do will become better as you have the time to do more and more exciting things. You become very creative. Good people will care for you and your family because they love the work you do. The good people will start doing good things for you. And you know that you can experience that. You feel hopeful and stronger because you can see and experience how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you help when you need help. Helps you when you are in need. Allah helps you when you are in need. You will praise and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more as the things unfold to you. Sometimes you have a wish and you don't see how that wish actually comes true. Then you realize, oh my goodness, that wish has come true, and then you become more grateful. So how does Islam help non-Muslims? Okay, that's a very interesting question. It gives them a chance to see the truth and beauty of things in the behavior of Muslims. It makes the world peaceful for them to live in. And it gives them a chance to become Muslim and enjoy the success and the success of the world and the next. So how does Islam help non-Muslims? So it doesn't only help us, it helps non-Muslims as well, because we are like a reminder, the reminder nation of what everyone promised at the beginning of creation, which is in the Quran. Allah said, Alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord? And then we said, Qalu bala shahidna, from long existence with you and spending time with you in the Jannah, we bear testimony that you are Rabb. Then the ayah goes on and says, at least you say on the day of judgment you didn't know. So yes, we all are aware, but we've forgotten. So each one of us are a reminder to the other one. That's why some people would translate a hadith, one Muslim is a mirror of another Muslim, because we remind each other of how we should be, or what we shouldn't be like, or what we should be like. And so we improve ourselves by just looking at one another. Whenever a person does a wrong, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told him not to do, then the person is not a Muslim. That's a very important thing. That comes from a hadith Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam related to said that Muslims do not commit a sin. So the companions asked, how can you say that? Because they know Muslims commit sin. He said, so the answer to that, the understanding of the hadith is that he said that when a person who is known to be a Muslim is doing something wrong, anything haram that we do, for that minute or second, we've lost our iman, because now we are not believing in Allah. We are not believing in the presence of Allah. We now are following shaitan. Because in another feature of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He has not created a person with two hearts. So either you have a heart for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you have your heart towards the shaitan. So we have that kind of, if we know that we're doing wrong, and then for that minute or second we actually lost our iman. And Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the only time when your iman comes back to you is when you feel bad about what you've done. So that makes me understand why we don't drink wine and smoke dacha and things like that, because your senses are far long gone for a longer time. So for you to realize that you've done wrong. So if you die in that state, then you die as a kafir, because your iman has not returned yet. So Shaitan has the power to call you towards the wrong, but he cannot do it. He doesn't have the power to do it. We have the power to say no, and that's why the Quran will go on another feature and say, Shaitan will actually tell people when they say, but you made me do it. He says, no, I didn't do it. I only was encouraged. I was only given the power to invite, but I didn't do it. So today you are the sultan of your own particular actions. Don't worry me, I've got my own problems. So that's quite clear in the Quran in terms of him saying that Allah keeps His promise, but He doesn't keep His promise. So how can a Muslim be safe and prosper? Okay, the Muslim should read the Quran every day and follow its advice, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to the person who reads the Quran, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's words are really marvelous, and it actually affects us on a vibrational level. It's not just our minds, it affects our hearts, it affects our molecular structure. That's why sometimes we just cry, because our hearts recognize the truth and it knows the truth. Even when we don't understand Arabic, our hearts understand it, and our essential soul and our essential ruh, it understands the Arabic. So then we just cry because we miss Allah. We haven't seen Him for a long time, and we're yearning, but we don't really understand it. So we cry. But that crying, and then there's another hadith that actually relates to when a person cries out of fear or hope or praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or gratefulness. Where the tears fall, that part is haram for the Jahannam's fire. So that's on another level. So we actually can sense that. That probably for me is the understanding of what is experiencing the nearness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you're really in that zone of complete, gratefulness. Alhamdulillah. I'm going fast here, but it's getting to just getting the grip of the lessons I was trying to do. So I'm going out of focus here. A day in the life of the Muslim. How does it start? A Muslim's day starts when the sun sets, which is Maghrib. Okay, sometimes we forget that. And Maghrib comes from the word gharaba, which means to withdraw, to set or to leave. So Maghrib is the withdrawal of the old day and the beginning of the new day. And the Muslim's day then starts with the night. It actually starts with resting and thinking and being grateful. And that gives you the strength to start the day or the daytime. So you first rest and then you work, which is beautiful if one looks at it from that angle. So if one says, what does a Muslim do to start the day? There's the adhan, the call to pray, begins the day of Maghrib. It's 3 minutes after sunset. In the adhan, the muaddin calls and praises Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and testifies to the oneness of Allah ta'ala. And then he also talks about Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he invites people to salah, worship, and to thank Allah and to adore Allah. And then the muaddin also reminds everyone that to come to salah is actually ensure success, falah, and Allah will look after you. And then the muaddin calls hayya, means you come to experience and come enliven. Ala salah, to salah, and hayya ala al-falah, and it means to come and seek success, salvation and welfare. Falah, success, prosperity. I think this is going to make you a little bit dizzy if you watch this. Sorry about that. Then the listener says, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And la hawla, there is no change, no growth, no difference. Wa la quwwata, and there is no power or strength. Illa, except billah, with Allah. There is no change, no power, no growth. Nothing can happen except by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-aliyyul azim. That is now when the person say hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah. The rest of the adhan you actually repeat. So what happens after the adhan is finished. So the Muslim then, now he makes a dua after the adhan. Okay, yes. Allahumma. Oh Allah, humma, hamma, comes from the word hamma, means I worryingly ask thee. Allahumma rabba, sustainer of هذه الدعوة التامة. The invitation, da'wati tama, invitation, da'wati tama, which is the one of the most wholesome call. Da'wati tama, most perfect call towards Allah. Wa salatin qa'ima, and the salah which has been established, qa'ima, which is unshakable, which makes you unshakable, which is unshakable. You cannot obliterate the salah. There will always be somebody who will salah. Right? Ati, give, grant, Muhammadin wasilata wal fadila. Grant Muhammad, peace be upon him, wasilata, a gift, of fadila, of excellence. Wa darajata rafiya, and grant him and give him a rank, tarafi'a, which is high, from the word rafa'a. وَبَعَثُوا مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا, and raise him. وَبَعَثُوا, means and, ba'ath wa'ath. وَبَعَثُوا, and raise him. وَبَعَثُوا مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا, to a station, a position, مَحْمُودًا الَّذِي. Mahmudan means of praiseworthiness. So if you get a little dizzy, then just listen to what I'm saying. Sorry about this. Mahmudan alladhi, praise alladhi, which wa'atta, which thou hast promised him. Wa'atta, him, who? Warazuqana, and provide us. Warazuqana, and provide us. Shafa'ata, his intercession of him. Shafa'ata Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the day, the last day, or the day of reckoning. Yawm means day. Inna, verily, innaka, thou, la tukhfil, do not, tukhlifu, hold back, tukhlifu, mi'ad, your promise, thine promise. Innaka la tukhlifu mi'ad, birahmatika, by the mercy of Allah, birahmatika, your mercy, ya arhamar rahimin, ya the most merciful of those who show mercy. So that basically was the dua after the adhan. I'm trying to give it to you word for word, and I think I'm going to stop at this point. It's going to take long to upload. I hope inshallah it can take quicker. But that's the problem I have at the moment. It takes like a whole evening to upload. But inshallah, I mustn't lose hope, I mustn't lose strength, and we must continue inshallah. I hope this helped you, inshallah, and your children. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum.